Hello, my name is Jimmy Knight, and today my partner and I will be investigating the Three Waters proposals. We will be interviewing a member of the public to hear their views, and Ben Scott, a local farmer and owner of Scott Fresh Company. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, yep, no, that's fine.
Does Three Waters impact your way of farming if the proposal was put in place?
Because we're not a stock farm, our operation is a horticultural operation. It's not affected as badly as what a stock operation would be, because Three Waters doesn't have any impact on irrigation. Where it does have an impact would be around our housing and staff accommodation, which we've got quite a lot of. That's where it would have an impact, but not on the farming operation as such, I don't think.
Yes. What are your thoughts on the Three Waters proposal?
I think the biggest concern with Three Waters is it takes the control out of your local bodies, your local entities. So previously you'd have like the Kaikoura District Council or ECAN would be looking at water supply to housing and possibly to stock water and things as well. But it's now been controlled by a government body. And for that reason, I don't think it's a particularly good idea. And for a business like ours, it means that we've got to jump all sorts of hurdles that are created by people that are pretty far removed from the business or the area.
Yes. Now that the national government is in place, are you happy about them shutting it down? If so, why?
Yep, for those reasons that I'm for, absolutely. I think it's the right thing to do. I think putting it back in the hands of local councils is by far the best bet. And I think also ensuring that local councils continue to be run as they are democratically and not under some sort of co-governance scheme that was proposed for Three Waters. But if councils go to being managed through some sort of co-governance where it's not democratically elected, I'd have some concerns. But I certainly support National getting rid of it.
Yes. Would the water supply that you use on your farm be affected?
Yeah, only the supply that we're using for domestic water supply, so it would only be affecting things like staff rooms and also affecting accommodation, but it wouldn't be affecting the irrigation side of it. And for us, the irrigation side of it's key, so it doesn't have as big a effect for us as it does for other operations.
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can we interview you about the Three Waters?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. First question. First of all, what do you know about the Three Waters proposal?
Not a lot, except that I understand that council control of the water has been removed from them and given to the government in some way through three different entities. All I know is the council's really pissed off about it. Yeah.
Sweet. When Three Waters was a topic and getting put through the process of becoming a real thing, what were your thoughts on the matter?
My thoughts on the matter, Christchurch traditionally has pretty good water and better water than other places in the country, and I guess I'm slightly concerned about all of the country's water being controlled from one place rather than the actual place where people live and can know more about it. So I was a bit concerned about it, but then I didn't know lots about it, so yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Three Waters would have affected your lifestyle in any way or any everyday activities you participate in?
Probably not, but there is that outside chance of the government ruining things, really. So, I mean, probably not, but there's an outside possibility of that, yes.
So to conclude, how do you feel about the National Party scrapping the Three Waters project?
I feel fine about it, actually, because I think that water should be in the hands of the people who are using it rather than one centralised body that's in Auckland and has no idea what Christchurch is doing with its water. So I'm happy for it to go back to the council.
Sweet, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to our news report on Three Waters. Thank you to all the people we interviewed and helped made this report possible. Hope you enjoyed it. This was Arthur Mears and Jimmy Knight from Christ College News.
Hello, my name is Gordon Logan, and today I'm here to report about the extraordinary win the Junior 11 football team had during the South Island Junior Tournament. Today I'm going to be interviewing Yul Kwan, Mr. Kim, Sam Fallett, Zach Council, and Angus Ward to ask them about their experience on the South Island Tournament. Here is Angus Ward's interview with Yul Kwan, one of the star players of the tournament and the Junior 11 season. Here it is.
What was the toughest part of the tournament for you personally?
Well, I'd say for me, the warm-up before the finals, I was feeling quite nervous, and then when we actually got into the final, I was feeling really nervous as well, which was tough to deal with.
What was it like being named the Christ College South Island Tournament MVP?
Yeah, no, I feel pretty good. I'm not going to say I fully deserved it, but happy to take it from Warren Dunnock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here is me and Angus's interview with Mr. Kim, the manager of the Junior 11 football team.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks for coming in at lunchtime.
What part did you play in the Junior 11's great win in the South Island Tournament this year?
I like how you've emphasised great win,
Yeah.
because it was quite an epic tournament. My role was actually quite limited. It was just to support you guys, and my focus was to create a positive culture where you feel safe and comfortable expressing yourself on the pitch as well as off the pitch as well. So that was my primary role as sort of a mum, as well as being a bit of a dad, as well as being being a hotel maid, as well as doing your laundry, Gordon, as well as asking you to put a shirt on in the hotel, as well as being a driver. So it's a bit of everything, but my primary was to create that culture.
Yeah. How rewarding was this win for you?
This win?
Yeah.
I mean, the win in itself means nothing to me.
Yeah.
It's the process that I have really come to enjoy. From the first minute that you guys walked onto the pitch, well, even before then, when I saw you guys during trainings and we were building up to that competition as well, it's nice to see the fruit. Nice to have the outcome that we all worked really hard for. So it's not something that we take for granted, and it's something that we can take as.
Here is my interview with Sam Fallett, one of the players on the Junior 11 football team, who is a key part in our victory. Hello, Sam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. How did it feel when the ref blew the final whistle?
It was just amazing, knowing that we won the whole tournament of South Islands, and the whole team just put in the effort, and it just felt good. We were all excited after that, and knowing that we've won it, and it's awesome.
It's good. How was your experience on the tournament like?
It was really good, getting to know all the boys a lot better and making a lot better friends, and just knowing that I've gone on a tournament before, and it was amazing. Just a very good experience.
And finally, Sam, how are you feeling before the final?
I was nervous, very nervous, but it was good knowing that we've put in all that work and made it to the finals in the end. And it was just nervous, and Yeah.
Thank you, Sam, so much.
Good.
Here is Zach Council, the lead scorer of the tournament. He also scored in the final, which is a great achievement. Here is me and Zach's interview. Hi, Zach. How are you?
Good, how are
Good?
you?
Are you pretty good? It's good. What was it like scoring in the final game?
You know, it was a pretty good experience. I was really happy to score in the final. I was pretty relieved after that because it was kind of close to the end and I felt like we were going to win the game.
Yeah. It was a great goal you scored.
Thank you.
I was on the sideline sadly because I had an injury, but it was great.
Yeah.
Great to see that. I went crazy. What's some of your best memories from the tournament? What are some of the best memories you
The
have?
best memories was probably winning the final was my top highlight, but with that, definitely the St. Bede's game.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was a great game. It was pretty intense.
It
seeing
was.
as we already played them early in the year and have some tight tension with
Yeah,
them.
it was good to get them back.
Yeah. And what would you do differently next time if we had this opportunity?
You know, I think I wouldn't react the same way like I did against St. Bede's.
Yeah.
Probably didn't need to, but, you know, that's just how I felt in the moment.
Yeah. And I have another question for you. How
Yeah.
did it feel scoring that many goals in the tournament?
It felt very good. I don't score many for Christchurch United, so
Yeah.
I was glad to score a lot.
Now here is Angus Ward. Not only was he my interview buddy, he also played a very significant part in the great win we had in the South Island tournament. Here is me and Angus's interview. Hi Angus, how are you today?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Cool, yeah. What was your experience on the Junior 11 tournament like?
Well, my experience was rather pleasant, Gordon. You know, I was with my friends, doing the things I love with my friends for a week straight, so can't ask for much more than that, can I?
No, you cannot. Not in this day and age. Yeah, it was quite a surreal feeling being with your friends that much, and yeah. What are some of your best memories from the Junior 11 tournament, Angus?
For me personally, Gordon, obviously I think we have to talk about the win. I mean, just everything we worked for leading up to that, you know, and then to obviously take the win home. It's in every sport you want to win, but I think the fact that, you know, it's a final, and for a lot of us it was the last dance in terms of the Junior 11, so we want to end it in a bang.
Yeah, it was very, very nice feeling to win it. One more question, Angus. How mentally draining was the tournament for you?
Oh, well, for me personally, Gordon, to be honest, I found that the tournament really drained me physically more than mentally, because when you're surrounded by your friends, and obviously I had a very good hotel room, and surrounded by friends is very easy to sort of relax and switch off, so it's always good to switch off when you're away from the football, you know, be more relaxed. So I think it was more physically draining than mentally, to be honest.
Okay, good to know. I was just wondering because I felt pretty mentally drained.
Have you ever struggled to find a car park outside of school? Parking is a growing issue in the centre city and outside our school. I'm Jack Richardson and I'm here to discuss this growing issue. On my journey, I've interviewed my grandmother, Mr. Steve Everingham, Mr. Garth Wynne, Councillor Jake McLellan and several members of the public. My first interviewee is Mr. Steve Everingham. Let's hear what he has to say. What do you think about the current parking situation outside the school?
Oh, it's pretty tough. I'm lucky I get a school car park, but usually I ride my bike, so I don't have to worry about parking.
What do you think about the current situation with the cycleway?
Oh, I like it, actually. At first I thought, it's a bit of a pain, but I'm used to it now. And actually it's not stopping the traffic. The traffic can still go out. The traffic can still come in. So it doesn't seem to be holding up traffic. And at first I hated it, but I wasn't used to it. And now I'm actually used to it. And the only thing that is annoying is when I'm crossing the road and I'm not crossing at the crossing, I've got to be careful that I don't walk in front of people on the cycle track.
Next up, I spoke to my grandmother. What do you think about the current parking situation outside Christ College with the cycleway?
Terrible. Makes it very difficult for older people to get to the college. We have to park way up one of the side streets or up at the museum.
Would better parking enhance the Christ College experience?
It certainly would. I enjoy going to Christ College, but the parking makes me think twice about it.
The consensus was mixed, so I decided to go out on the street and see what the general public thought about our issue. What do you think about the lack of parking along Rolleston Ave and Gloucester Street?
I think it's appalling. I think they need to remember too, there's a lot of disabled people that are coming to the hospital, to the arts centre and other places like that where they just don't have adequate disabled parking, let alone ordinary parking.
I think Christchurch has developed a lot of parking in the centre city, so I think people are willing to walk to where they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
It is annoying, but I believe, cycle lanes are important.
Yeah, I reckon there could be some more parks.
Horrendous. I hate it. Please fix it.
I guess if it's for people difficult to park, they probably won't bother to come in the city, maybe.
Here's what Mr. Wynne had to say.
Given that this is an inner city precinct, you could argue that there are alternate places to park than those streets precisely, other than for residents. There are quite large parking facilities in town. There are quite large parking facilities in other spaces. So if you want the ambience of a non-highly trafficked area, then sometimes you have to, get away with parking and the like. So the cycleway clearly has compromised a lot of parking along there, but that's essentially a temporary measure while the museum gets built for 5 years. So you've got to accept, there's a bit of a cost to the museum renovation, and we have to deal with that. That's part of what it is. Gloucester's loss of parking was a response to this loss of parking. So the two things, you have to have buses down there and all that sort of stuff.
Many people were for or against the new cycleway and its removal of some car parks. So I organised an interview with Councillor Jake McLellan. What do you think about the current parking situation outside Christ College?
Yeah, I think it's obviously adversely affected by the redevelopment of the museum down there. That's going to take a few years. It's going to be amazing when it's finished, but it was always going to cause disruption to nearby neighbours, of which Christ College is clearly one of them.
Are you able to explain the process of deciding to implement the cycleway, removing half of the car parks?
Yep, I think you would want to check to make sure that the cycleway removes half the car parks. I suspect the removal of half the car parks may be more related to the museum redevelopment, and that's temporary in nature. But the process in this instance is actually quite different from what we would normally do. So in this instance, staff asked us, staff have the ability to put in a temporary traffic management powers. They needed to do that for the museum redevelopment, and while they were doing that, they said, look, we've got an underutilisation of that road past Armagh Street. We've got spare capacity. There isn't a great cycling facility on Hagley Park. We have pedestrians and cyclists mixing, going both ways. What would be better is to use some of that undercapacity on Park Terrace and dedicate a little bit of it to cycling. It shouldn't impact journey times of vehicles, and it will enable more safety and more reliability of journey times for cyclists. So staff came up with that idea and sought to trial it for a temporary basis, provide council feedback. If council is comfortable, we could leave it in place for as little or as long as we like.
Is this a permanent change?
No, these works aren't permanent. Certainly the stuff around the museum isn't permanent, but neither is the cycleway. But the idea being that if it's successful, we would look to put something permanent down there. We want to do more of this. We want to put up cheap, quick, temporary solutions where we think there may be a problem, trial them. If they work, if they're popular, if they're safe, and if they don't cause too much disruption to vehicles, then we know we're on the right track and we'll build something that maybe costs a bit more and lasts a bit longer.
Does the cycleway have any downsides in your eyes?
Different cycleways are different. Some do have downsides. The downside that inevitably comes with almost every cycleway is a loss of parking. You know, when you're dedicating road space for one thing, you're inherently taking it away from another thing. And that's why the roading network everywhere is about balance, making sure there is enough space for vehicles, for cyclists and pedestrians to travel separately and safely, and for people to park to actually use the things that are along that route. In this instance, there isn't really a downside for vehicles. There's a bit of a downside for parking, but I suspect that most of that will be alleviated when the museum is redeveloped. So always downsides. Are they major? I think they're worth it.
In the process of investigating this issue, I've thought of a possible solution. The cycleway could be moved back in towards the school, past the museum, and the grass in between the road and the cycleway could be removed and asphalted or concreted and made into car parks.
Got you. Look, I mean, as I said, if there's a real problem, we can look at solutions on how to fix it. My first instinct is to go time restrictions, but schools are funny because all the parking, you require a lot of parking for a very short space of time, twice a day. And it's like anything in transport, right? You can't build a network to service the peak demand. Otherwise, you'd have roads that were 10 times the capacity and only being used, for 2 hours a day. And that's just not sensible. So, I mean, my question would be really, how big of a problem is it? If it's a big problem, we'd love to have the school approach us and see if we can work through some solutions. But actually, parking isn't a privilege. It's something you should provide yourself.
After my interview, I concluded that there is never a solution to a problem. It is always ongoing. And the new addition of the cycleway is not the only reason we have a shortage of car parks. I'm Jack Richardson, and thank you for listening.